always helps when I turn the microphones on. Hopefully you can hear now. So today we're going to do some more on the VBCC port for the MEGA65, and I think maybe some folks from Challenge Stream will come over and do a raid in a little bit. So I will, in the meantime, put the word out on Twitter and on Discord. Live streaming again, now working more on the VBCC compiler port for the MEGA65. Right, pasty into there, pasty into there. And even though there might be some folks in Germany awake still, so they're posted onto forum 64. Oh, hello to whoever has joined in. So we're just putting the word out on a couple of spots for people to come and join in. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Pasty. Okay, and I should have. One of the funny ways that I have this set up is you guys can hear Radio Parallax because it comes from the second laptop I've got set up here that I have the Twitch Stream Manager visible to me on as well, so I can see your chat messages come through. But I can't hear it myself, so I have to play it on a separate laptop. And then it comes through my headphones, which is all fine and good, but it means that I have no idea of the audio level that you guys are getting without looking at the display. Right, so I'm going to need HDMI in as well so that I can get my display happening there so that you guys can see what we're hacking away with. So where we got to last time was that we had made our color cycle test program using our modified config for the thing, and this will glue the stream for a little bit, so don't worry if it lags just then, because the compression goes to nuts when it suddenly goes, "Hey Richard Combs, glad to have you along." Yeah, no, thank you for saying greetings, Paul. Hope the recovery is going well. So yeah, so I had surgery more or less almost exactly a week ago in a couple of hours' time, and yeah, slowly on the mend. Still pain now and then that the none of the painkillers really is able to touch, but it's slowly coming back down. Level a little bit lower. So serious limbs is saying. So how's that for the music level? Hopefully that sounds alright. So curiously, it's got two of you showing there and only one viewer listed. Normally it kind of lags the other way around. Okay, so we're able to compile things with this new memory. Oh, and so Richard Combs is saying, hope the painkillers don't affect your live stream. And the audio levels are good. Okay, cool. So yeah, no, so this morning I'm just on paracetamol. So they have given me something stronger for when the pain is worse. And to be honest, the main advantage of that is it makes me drowsy. So it's, it's painkiller through sedation, basically. Which, hey, it's one way of doing it. But the trouble I was having with that actually was that the antibiotics are famous for causing nausea. And so I couldn't just sit and stare at a screen for a while, but now that I've got the anti-nauseas, it's much better. But anyway, onward and upward. So if I come back here, so we were modifying the startup code for VBCC so that it was setting the modes and ROM banking and everything so that we had the IO in. That was what we were trying to do yesterday, which we succeeded in. Oh, you can probably hear our orange cat from outside complaining bitterly that he's not being attended to in a satisfactory manner by his staff, but he's got a pile of food, so and he's got the entire outside world until it gets dark, which is like 12 hours away, so he should be fine. Okay, so we enabled the IO mapping. Now I think we made an executive decision that we weren't going to change to lowercase in this. Actually, I'll just comment it out for now. Oops. It's the annoying thing with Emacs in assembly editor mode. I don't know. Has it got a... Oh, Control C semicolon. Right. Control C semicolon. Well, that's a bit crazy. I guess if I do this. Right, now it's commented out. Cool. Because I always found it annoying that you try and put a semicolon at the start of a line and it would go at the end. Okay, hey, welcome along to the other folks who've snuck in the last couple of minutes. So we're going to stay in uppercase, and it's up to the programmer to change to lowercase if they want to. Hey, Shalon! Thanks for dragging everyone in, and welcome along to everyone coming along from the end of Shalon's stream. Hey! Feel free to hang about for a bit if you're not too whacked out already, Shalon, or if you want to disappear and catch some Zeds, totally understand as well. So, just tweaking the startup code here so that we stay in uppercase. And then what I really want to do is to get on to making the floppy loader code, which I'm going to try and do in C for the most part. So that you would need to call a routine that will start doing the loading of the .b0 file. In the long term, what I want to do is actually to probably have it in assembly once we get it kind of a bit more settled down. So it actually really is an IRQ loader. And in the C code, you'll be able to query whether a particular bank is available yet or not and have it block or non-block. But that's probably a little bit more than I will get to right now. But so I did start... No. Remind me if I try and run things without having recompiled that in a moment. Where did I put it? VBCC. Oh, that's right, because it's VBCC MEGA65 or something, isn't it? Yep. Test. And then did I have... Where did I put it? I'd started hacking on. So here's what we're going to use as a reference, and I'll come back to that in a second. Right, so here's what I started working on. Right. So this is the IRQ loader that I wrote a while back. Oh, Fittrend says, "Who happy to see someone else use Emacs?" Yeah, and I don't even have carpal tunnel syndrome because I don't use one of those crazy Space Cadet keyboards. If anyone hasn't seen the Space Cadet keyboards that were famous when Emacs was introduced and famous for destroying the carpal tunnel in the hands of the first generation of Emacs users, I'll dig up an image. It's quite a hilarious keyboard, and to call it ergonomic would require a leap of faith. So this IRQ loader actually works quite well, loading from SD card, and I also wanted to make sure that it works from real disk. You can give it a file name and it will open the D81 disk image that's mounted using the floppy controller, so in theory it should work for both. It will go to the directory track, find the directory entry, find the starting track and sector, and then it'll chain through the sectors, loading the data in, using the floppy controller to do that in a really nice way. So it's quite fast if you're doing it from an SD card, like hundreds of kilobytes a second if you call the IRQ routine repeatedly. So in this one, by default, I've got the IRQ simply being called once per frame using a raster interrupt. So it'll only load 50 sectors per second, which is, what's that? Roughly a quarter of that, 12.5 kilobytes a second. But if you call the IRQ handler repeatedly, then multiple times per frame, you can load much more in. And once we get the IRQ triggering from the floppy controller, which should also work, and we might even try and fix that today as well, then you should get maximum speed with that. So we also have elsewhere tools, utils, is it floppy, flop tests? Oh, there's one in C I thought I had. Maybe it's in tests. Floppy test.c, because what I'm wanting to do is to shamelessly copy as much existing code as I have from around the place and streamline it a little bit. Okay, so here is our code to seek to track 0. But what I should do, I should recompile that loader first before I get any further. Okay, and I really need to automate this a little bit actually. Right, that's how I was doing it, wasn't it? Vi update M65 lib. And of course I'll need to fix a bunch of these paths. Because we're in targets. Targets 6502. Oh, what is it? It was in. Yeah. Oh, look at that! I've got some crazy files there that I should get rid of. Lib M65. Sorry, so where are we here? So Retrochrome's Emacs, Vim, Vi, I've never really been able to dig into any of them and really need to, especially after watching Paul's fingers flying around. Yeah, so it's really interesting. So you get holy wars over these editors, right? What I would say, in my view, is that they are great for different purposes. So if I'm just at the command line hacking around and I want to modify a file quickly, I will just use Vi, right? So, as I was doing just there, because it just, it's on every Unix system, it'll load up quickly and you can just close it out. It's not going to open a crazy session and do all complicated stuff, right? And whether you use Vi or Vim, that's really is pretty secondary. I've got Vim in here, I think, available to me as well. Yeah, I do. Whereas Emacs is more of, one of the really original software IDE environments, and kind of supports a whole pile of different environments with that. So yeah, but I know some people just hate it with a vengeance because it's you need 18 fingers to use all the possible key combinations. And Emacs also has a complete programming language in it, which admittedly isn't a very easy one for most of us mere mortals to program. But in theory, you can extend it to do anything you want. So anyway, let's lib source. There it is. Startup.s. We want. Okay. Whoops. Where was it? I'll use Vim just to make people happy. Doesn't really matter for a shell script. But if I quit out and now load it back in, it should know it's a shell script, and so we're getting some syntax highlighting happening, right? Right, so there's our source file, and we want to put the output in VBCC targets somewhere. M65 lib, isn't it? Yep. /startup.o. Okay. Oh, we've got a message coming in here. Okay, that's right. Get back to that. So, right, so this should work. Cool, so let's have a look at the output file and make sure it's actually put it in there and it's updated. I'm a killer for automation because I hate not being able to remember how to do things. Oh, welcome along, Kicking Ed. Great to see you there as well. Okay, so that should be all good. So we should be able to compile the test again. Now again, this is going to do the infinite loop because this color cycling thing does an infinite loop. What I might actually do... No, that's right. We can just live with it. It doesn't matter enough. M65 reset, and then we'll let you do the immediate running this time. It should work. Tests color cycle VBCC.prog. So this should work the same as the last time, except that it won't drop to lowercase. So theory has it. And correct, it's working. And sorry if I've said you're buffering, going crazy there. Oh yeah, it's Richard Crames saying I just can't wrap my head around the VI commands. Even tried the online trainer, just one of those things I have to commit to. So the best thing to do with VI is print out one. There are fantastic cheat sheets for VI, and you just keep it next to you the whole time when you're trying to learn to use it. And yeah, you just have to spend some time until it kind of becomes muscle memory. And the reality is it can do much more than you will memorize how to use. I only use, like 6 or 8 of the main commands, and those alone are helpful enough to get good stuff done. So, yeah. Okay, so we have that updated. So now we should be able to. We'll make a script that will compile with VBCC. Where is it? Up here? Yep. So I'm just going to make another command that just compiles this something. So vi VBCC comp. And I'll take the directory off of here. And find out where on earth Oh, it's in the test. It is in the test directory. Okay. Is it? D81. No. Is it? Where is it? Ah. What? No. And I am there, right? Ah, because I'd never saved it. Oh, okay, and I've got it so that it's putting the .c on the end. Fair enough. Okay. Actually, I'm going to make it display the thing that it's built. Right, so we can see we've got the compiled program, 318 bytes, and we've got the 256K banking file, which currently is not being used. Okay, Richard Combs is saying, so when can we expect a port of Vi to the MEGA65? Actually, it sounds like a great idea. We need a good text editor. So I wrote for the C65, in fact, not even the MEGA65, a really simple Emacs clone that supported just a very few of the Emacs commands. And I also wrote, or started to write, a multi-file text editor native for the C65, which I haven't tried out for ages. Let me see if we can... Here it is. Now, I haven't touched this for years, so it's totally possible that it won't run. But let's see if it will. Ooh! It looks like it is. Now, I just need to get a... Oops. It needs to have a disk image with the right magic stuff on it here. Update D81. Okay, M65 FTP, put M65, oops, M65 IDE dot, with a space will help. So I reckon the last time I touched this was like 2017. So it's 5 years of stuff. Yeah, and getting some easier stuff to do file transfer and stuff would be really nice as well. So let's mount the disk image. Right. So here it is. So it's currently it's read only, and it's actually showing its own source code. In fact, so we've got the first ASCII font that we made for it. So there's probably some glitches in there, but we can do things like if I do, actually I'll put the camera on, and I can never remember which one is which. Oh yes, there's a when it stops saying no card. We can go Control X. I have to remember now. What key combinations did I do for it? Because that's working. Oh, I'm confused now. Maybe it was Mega X. No? Control X2? No. Control XB, because it does support switching which, but we should be able to see in the source code we're in buffers.c, right? you can split the screen into columns and things and have different bits in there. So this just really needs some love of someone to work on, because I haven't had the opportunity to attack it since. Roughly calculate free space, blah 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 blah. And of course at 40 megahertz it's lovely and fast, right? So this was designed to work adequately on a stock C65. And it's kind of okay on a stock C65, but it's much better on the MEGA65, of course. Okay, we'll have to have a look in the source code somewhere else. But anyway, you get the idea. So there's already a nice text editor that I started work on, and if someone else wants to, to take on the mantle of finishing that, that would be fantastic. And I think once we have this, VBCC port with the memory banking working and everything, it'll be quite feasible to have quite advanced features in there, because you will be able to use several hundred kilobytes of RAM for the program and the buffers, and potentially as well use the 8 meg attic RAM to store all the buffers in as well, because there's no reason the little bit of slowdown from that won't be a big problem. So let's get back to what we were trying to do. And so we want to go back to here. Right, yes, so we compiled that, and then we were going to do a test run with that. And what have I? Oh, it's gone and got itself confuzzed. We might just do it that way. What have I screwed up in there? We'll just do it that way. Right, that's better. So it'll sit there and it'll do nothing, right? So the VBCC compiled programs, when they get to the end, they actually just go into an infinite loop. They don't exit out. That's fine. So now what we want to do is start copying across a bunch of this stuff that we have here. Now, there's some magic in here, because this code was being used when I was doing horrible things to the floppy drive. Going past track 80 and trying to fit as much data and everything on as possible. So how much of this we actually need to replicate, I'm not sure. I'm going to start with simple, and we'll do it that way. So, oh, pardon me. We want to step towards track 0, and oops, in fact what we really want is just this loop from the bottom, and we'll clean it out a little bit. We don't need to do any border color fiddle. And I'm just going to make this a little bit easier to read. Now these while loops here are actually checking if the floppy drive is busy. So FTC busy wait. We'll call it idle wait, right? Because you want to wait until it's idle, not wait until it's busy. Right. Yeah, you're welcome, Richard Combs, for the text editor diversion there. So that should seek to track 0, and then we want to turn the motor on. Oh, pardon me. Super simple. Turn the motor off is super simple. And we're not really, this isn't really one of these test programs anymore, so we'll get rid of that test stuff there. So I think we have printf working in here. Press 0 to seek to track 0. We'll soon find out. While 1, whoops. Unsigned, well, we can just do a char. If C, and we've got a character, clear the character from the input buffer. So we're using the hardware accelerated ASCII keyboard scanner here. So this is actually one of the things that I really like that we did with the MEGA65. But we can actually just make that even easier to read, right? We'll put a default in there in a minute. So I think a number of you are probably already familiar with this, right? That you can just peek D610 for characters on the keyboard. You don't have to do any keyboard scanning routine. You don't have to have an interrupt there running to scan the keyboard. You can just read direct from the keyboard, and it will do all the modifier combinations, all that kind of stuff. It's a really nice little feature that we built in to make your life easier. Oops, helps if my keys fingers are on the right keys here, right? Seek track 0. And we might make it so that whether you do lowercase or uppercase M, we'll do the FDC motor on. And, oh, I don't know, we'll just make it so if you hit enter, it's FDC motor off. Okay, let's try that. Need to reset the machine first, and vargs. Oh, let's have a look. Line 34. Ah, okay. So what am I? Because I'm calling printf, right? Oh, and I haven't got a peak defined yet. Oh. We'll need an include. It's one of those funny little things. I mean, having the peek and poke macros. I mean, you can do this stuff directly in C, but it's one of the nice things that BASIC is just so the basic syntax is much clearer, especially for those of us who've used the C64. But just being able to, peek and address in the C code makes it much more readable in my view. Unexpected end of file. Well, now what's going wrong? If I got incorrect numbers of brackets on there, I probably do. Do I know that was right? Unexpected end of file. Where is it? The include? It might be the include. And it might be because I probably shouldn't be trying to pull in includes that are meant for CC65. I don't know whether that will fix it or not. We'll find out. Nope. Unexpected end of file. Oh. And I may have to stop for a while actually. It's because my pain is coming back. I don't think they go and grab a. What's the time now? Past 9. Another hour before I can stick some more paracetamol into me. We'll try and continue on for a little bit. But if you see me wriggling around, that's why. So yeah, this particular type of surgery, one of the annoying things is it is a literal pain in the backside. So sitting is one of the things that can be a nuisance. Fortunately, I've got a pretty comfy office chair, which is pretty good, but yeah, it's still a bit annoying at times. So it's a bit annoying. Well, actually, the simple solution is we're just not going to do the printf, right? We don't need the printf. We know what we're doing. We know that we can press these keys. And if we want to know that we've actually pressed something, we'll just cycle the border color every time we press a key. Oh, nope. Maybe I've got the problem is in my C file after all. Have I got enough closey brackets? That's that one. Aha! We probably could have had the printf, that's right. So it's a bit, yeah, trying to find a way for that error to get displayed better would be nice. Okay, so we've loaded it. And I don't know whether you'll be able to hear. Let's try M for motor. So, because we should have the right I/O content. We can know we've got I/O visible because the border is changing. But why is it not working? Oops, which was the address? DO80, right, okay. Okay, so if I do that manually there, it's going on. That says to me that maybe we've got the wrong I/O mode, which we can test. Yeah, we're not in, hang on, that's got the wrong number of digits in there. No, it is working. Okay, I am going to have to take a break, unfortunately, folks. I might come back in half an hour or something to see how we go. Yeah, great to have you along, and we'll get the next steps of this happening as soon as we can. Okay, catches.